So, should the Pistons trade Andre Drummond? This season has not been very good for them, between injuries, the roster just being not that good, and whatever else, right? They could keep playing the not bad enough, not good enough game. We don't know, but should they trade Drummond? There's already been some rumors about him connected to the Hornets, which, okay. Now, I'll say this about Drummond. I think your opinion of this, I think, depends a lot on what you feel about Andre Drummond. Personally, I think he's just kind of meh. The rebounding is, of course, what it is, but even so, between the efficiency, lack of a well-rounded offensive game, even if he's gotten better on free throws, kudos to him for that one. Defensively, he's just kind of there. Not horrible, not good enough to where I'm really going nuts about him at center. And there's just a number of centers that I would prefer to have over Drummond. Some who score more points, some who score less points. You get it, right? And one thing with Andre is, if you're trading for him, does that mean that... I'm assuming it means you're going to want to hold on to him for a while, right? Well, what does Andre and his agent expect to get? Because if they're expecting a max contract, that's a yikes for me, man. Because I'll be honest, I would rather have some solid center who I'm not going to suck with, who I'm paying like $7 to $10 million a year, as opposed to Andre Drummond if I got to pay him like 30. You know what I mean? But maybe there's teams who disagree with me on that one. Maybe the Charlotte Hornets are one of those teams. Anyway, should the Pistons do this? Well, I think, number one, it depends on who the hell actually wants them and all that. But the other thing is, to go back to what I just said, if I was the Pistons organization, I would be under the idea of you know what? We can be just as good as having Drummond if we just find some center who doesn't suck, who we can pay a lot less money. You know what I mean? If we're looking at upcoming free agents, granted, the Pistons' salary would be affected significantly whether Drummond is here or not, but if we're just looking at future free agents at the center position, if I'm paying Marc Gasol half of what I'm paying Andre Drummond, I think I want Marc Gasol more. I definitely want Montrezl Harrell over Andre Drummond. Hell, even someone like Enes Kanter, who we saw make a big impact for the Blazers in the postseason, right? The Celtics are paying him $4 million. Seriously ask yourself, what would you rather have? Andre Drummond making at minimum $25 million a year, or Enes Kanter making $6? You know what I mean? So if the Pistons share my mentality, which is basically hating on Andre Drummond, then I would definitely see them moving Andre. As far as for what? Well, if we're going to use the Hornets as an example, because they're linked to him and all that, I don't really know. I'll tell you right now, if a lottery pick was exchanged for Andre Drummond, I would be shocked. And the Hornets don't have any excess picks. And then when I look at the Hornets' actual players, you're definitely not getting Devontae Graham or Miles Bridges or PJ Washington. Would an Andre Drummond to the Hornets trade be... Alright, so you gotta get to Drummond's $27 million. The easiest way to do that is Batum's contract. But maybe the Pistons wouldn't want to do that because then they gotta pay Batum next season because he's definitely accepting that player option. So then is it Biyombo and MKG? That gets you pretty close. Marvin Williams and MKG basically mirrors Drummond's salary, so it would probably be that. And then some protections on a first or something, which, look, is that... Are you going crazy about that return? No, you're not. But it gets you something, and it just kind of gets you out of the whole Andre Drummond thing, which, again, maybe the Pistons have a much higher outlook on Drummond than I do. The Hornets do have quite a few young dudes. I just don't think you're getting any of the big three young dudes from them, And then when I look at other teams in the Eastern Conference, and we'll move on to the West in a second, but if I look at teams in the East, potential suitors for Drummond, outside of the Hornets, who I basically just have to put in there because the rumors are out there, pretty much none of the good teams need a center. And that goes all the way down to the Orlando Magic at the 8th seed, Nets don't need one, they got Jared Allen. Bulls don't need one, they got Wendell. You're looking at the Cavs or the Hawks. Do we really think the Cavs or the Hawks are going all in on Andre Drummond for the next 5 seasons? I don't think so. And then there's the Knicks. Do we want to see Andre Drummond on the Knicks? You know what? Knicks fans, feel free. I don't know. We move on to the West. It's a similar thing. How many teams really need a center? And not just a center, but one that you're going to pay a crap ton of money to. And a guy who... would he even be in the All-Star running in the Western Conference? Probably not, right? And again, this is for a guy who I'm pretty sure wants a max contract. And you know what's crazy? I feel like he might actually get it from some team like the Hornets or something. If we look at the Western Conference, the one team that intrigues me is the Spurs, honestly. Because I feel like if Popovich just had Drummond, maybe he could turn that dude into a, what he already is, a rim-running rebounder, but also a defensive menace or whatever. And if that's the case, hey, we can get a DeRozan for the center version of DeRozan and Andre Drummond, and that would be... it would partially be very interesting for a couple days, then I think we would all just stop caring about it. So yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't know where the obvious Drummond team is, if there is one. Maybe the Pistons are just we're keeping this dude, we're 6-11, season's going nowhere besides the first round exit at the most. Screw it, we're gonna keep the ship afloat. But if that's not the case, I don't know what the obvious move is. But again, I am not as high on Andre Drummond, so if you are, then you could probably paint a few more scenarios than I was able to. And there's a chance that I'm wrong. There's a chance Drummond's really awesome and he's just on the wrong team, but I don't know. I just don't think very highly of the guy. I think he's clearly a great rebounder, and that's awesome. But unfortunately for him, in today's NBA, that's the most irrelevant thing to be great at, you know what I mean? I would much rather you be a center who grabs 10 rebounds a game, but you can shoot, or you can go off the dribble, or you can pass, or then you're a really good rim protector. I'd rather have all that than you just grabbing 17 rebounds a game and being mediocre at everything else. So yeah, the me hating Andre Drummond video is over. I don't know what's going to happen, but maybe the Hornets will just commit to Drummond for 5 years.